Okay.
Yep, we're live.
Chris, are we live?
Yes, we are, sir.
We are live. What's up, everybody? It's Will
And Chris
from The High Five and Knuckles Up coming to you again with Talks of the Table today. We have a man from Tennessee, correct? Tennessee?
Correct.
That's right. Coming from Tennessee, big, bad Roby Russell is in the house getting ready for Knuckles Up 4 with a massive match. Jeez, look at that freaking handing for him. Oh, boy. Getting ready for a massive match against none other than the legend from overseas himself, Cvetan Gashevski. But guys, we are live on YouTube and on Instagram. So like, comment, subscribe, give us that thumbs up, and don't forget you get your tickets because in person and pay-per-view are live. But most importantly, I have this gentleman in front of me, Roby. How are you feeling, brother?
So far, I feel amazing. I've slowly upped my intensity with training. I just pulled this past weekend to see where I felt. I don't like just pulling guys that I know that I can beat, but a guy actually happened to show up that I've really wanted to pull for a long time, and I got to compete against him. He ended up beating me, but I got to really test my hook to see where my strength level's at and my progression. So
yeah, I think
I'm really happy about that, which I pulled up in the 242 class. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was the Tennessee States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I know, for any of you guys who don't know, I mean, Roby, you've been arm wrestling for a decent amount of time now, right?
Since 2015.
Since 2015. So we're working up on 10 years. But I kind of think the big splash happened when you did LeRay's round robin, right? Pulled Toulier, pulled Merlot, and Adam Warzinski. That's right. Yep. You took second in the whole thing, correct? Right? And he just really just kind of splashed onto the scene and made a massive name for yourself. And then, of course, congratulations, great match at the Challenger Series as well. So got a big opponent ahead of you. If you didn't, I'm sure everyone who's watching should go back and watch his Cvetan's match with Craig Toulier at Knuckles Up 1. It just shows you the level of mastery that he truly has. So what are you feeling? How do you think you're going to handle his King's move, then that open top roll style of his?
Well, I got to go down and train with a lot of the guys that's going to be pulling East versus West Saturday. I got to train specifically with Craig because Craig is familiar with Cvetan.
Yeah.
So talking to him and, building a game plan and, telling me what I should do and what I shouldn't do. I have a idea, I think, that will give me maybe a better jump than Craig did. For one, I'm a little bit bigger than Craig. My arm's longer. There's just things that I bring to the table that I think that Craig doesn't initially, which I hope that it works in my favor. Now, don't get me wrong, Craig's an absolute monster right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, but for him to say that and tell me that I do have a chance, I'm going to believe that. So.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
For those at home that kind of don't know your background or how you got into the sport, can you kind of just walk us through like what got you into arm wrestling and kind of big accomplishments that you've had up until now? I know obviously the round robin is one of them.
Yeah. Well, what got me into the sport, I was playing flag football at my high school back in 2015, and LeRay was there. We all arm wrestled,
Sure.
Cafeteria, all locker rooms, all that stuff. Well, we're down there playing football, and somebody brings up that they want to arm wrestle. I'm just like, hey, I want to arm wrestle. I've never been beat either. It's always one of those things. I was just stronger than everybody.
Yep.
So he's like, man, you should come up to our event. I think it was May 21st is when it was. I was like, you know what? I'll do that. So I go there and I enter the amateur class. I think it was like amateur 85 or something like that. I ended up pulling that, and I think he told me to jump in the open too because it wasn't a huge tournament. So I jumped in there in the open class, and amateurs. I ended up beating every single person at the tournament.
Wow, that's awesome.
I had no idea what I was doing. Like, it was eye-opening. So for me, that is my big jump start right there. Without LeRay, I wouldn't be a part of this. I would still be off probably playing football or some other hobby, but
sure, yeah.
That's why I'm here.
10 years later, taking on one of the best who's ever done it, and Knuckles Up 4. I'm super pumped about it. I mean,
Same.
we've heard nothing but incredible things, specifically about your hand and your arm from Merlo. He's like, he's just kind of built different. He's got this freakish big hand, a long arm, and blah, blah, blah. And I look at Jason and I say the same damn thing. So I'm like, man, I cannot wait to shake this gentleman's hand.
Yeah, he's the beast from the East.
Yeah, Merlo's different.
That's it.
That's a special dude right there. Like,
oh yeah.
Not to take a lot away from me or anything, but Merlo, he truly does need big opportunities because he has that something that a lot of people don't have. And I'm not going to say that I have it, but Merlo's a bad dude.
Oh yeah.
There's not many people that wants to pull him left-handed.
Yeah.
If it's not the best in the country, it's top 3, top 4. I mean, people just, it's not worth their time because he's not this huge name, but also they won't pull him because he's probably going to wax the floor with him.
Yeah, he does like to say that everyone has been just evading him, and he goes, that's fine, the longer the better. But I do want to shout out, we have some regulars and some famous people in the chat. Shout out to Paul Italia. He's in the house, guys. After tonight's podcast, Talk to the Table, please head over to Paul Italia's channel. They're going to be doing the Buzz Show with obviously Robbie. He's going to be going on as well, and some other special guests. Maria's in the chat, Troy. Lots of great people. Thank you guys so much for the support. Dan's in here. It's absolutely awesome. But as you said, like, Merlo is fantastic on the left and everything. Now, Robbie, I don't know if you know this, but we have a special thing that we do at Knuckles Up. Maybe Craig told you. I'm not sure. You heard from the grapevine, but you guys kind of talked amongst yourselves. And we have some secret matches that go on afterwards, right? So one, that's why people got to be there in person, or you got to like, comment, subscribe, and join our premium YouTube channel to see those matches. But if you wanted to pull Jason on the left, that could be a possibility. I'm just saying.
I'll pull anybody. I don't think that I'm on Jason's level left, but my left's there right now. Like, I don't know that I quite have it, but I might have enough to sneak up on him somewhere and drag him in deep waters. So
I absolutely love it. Oh, and thank you, Martin. Stop doing that, Martin. Once again, another week in a row, gifting us 5 subs. We truly, truly appreciate that. But yeah, it's a fun thing that we do, Robbie. We don't care about the weight classes. We don't care about right arm, left arm, whatever you want to do. You guys just talked amongst yourselves, and we have some secret matches that happen. Like on the last one, we had Jason and Mario pull left. We also had Toshiyuki and BJ Fakakis pull. So no one's seen those matches. They're on our YouTube premium, but yeah, maybe we'll
I'd hate to be 2-0 against him. He would
that's true. But I'll tell you what, Craig is also going to be there. So depending on how your guys' matches go, if you're still feeling fresh, I mean, you got to give the people what they want, Robbie. You got to give them the beast of the East.
Yeah, or we'll see a rematch.
Me and Craig. Craig's a big foundation to my training right now. Without him, I don't know if I would be progressing at the level that I am. Just his insight, his knowledge, it's almost second to none, man. Like, I have to give a lot of praise to that guy because he has pointed out a lot of my flaws and things I need to work on, and I've been pushing that. So I hope that it leads to success.
I will say too, and this is not a knock because everyone who has come to Knuckles Up has been a stand-up act, but one of the most polite, gentle giants that I've ever met in my, I mean, the guy, like you said, he's the hands down best 198 on the right arm in the entire country. One of those top guys in the world. So humble, so polite, him and his wife. So Craig, if you're listening, thank you. We're super excited to have you as well. But so now he told you some, what he felt on the table with Cvetan and all those types of things. Now, I know your weight will be a little bit heavier. Where are you sitting at currently, roughly?
I just got home and weighed myself. I'm at 212 right now.
All right, gotcha. 212. Nice. Are you trying to kind of just hover there, gain a little, lose a little? Is it more just how you feel?
My diet's probably going to get me down probably at 205, 208. I mean, I can make whatever, but I'm leaning out a little bit more. Like I've been eating to bulk, to put on mass, but you kind of have to stop that because I don't want to be 225 or any of that.
Yeah, you don't want to be huffing and puffing, right, on the table. Yeah,
that's where I was. My cardio's thing. I got to start implementing more cardio. Just this weekend after that one big match, I was dead. Like that's too much.
No, definitely. It makes a massive difference. And just from a small tip perspective, just from my own training and background, is like even something as small as going on 10-minute walks after your meals, they'll help with your cardio, and it's just a little bit. You don't got to do a lot. You just got to get that heart pumping and that type of stuff. I'm super, super excited about it. But one thing that we ask every single person that comes on here is, so you've seen the entire card, right? Are there any other matches that really stick out to you and you were like, ooh, I can't wait to see that one?
I would like to see Ryan Bowen pull in person. I really would. I think that he is shooting up.
Oh yeah.
Andre's an animal, and he is going to have the size advantage. That's one that I would really like to see. Honestly, I would like to see Ursula's match. Ursula, I got to see her pull in person, and I think that's another very interesting one. I love watching the women in general, just because they don't get enough praise.
Agreed.
I think.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, I think it's okay if I say this, but I am probably most excited about Ryan Bowen's match. I'm not saying I'm not excited for everybody else's. I think it's just because, Robbie, you kind of said it, right? Like, he's given up weight, but I feel like everyone has written the gentleman off. And I'm like, that is the place where Ryan flourishes, right? He's like the underdog and all those types of things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy when everybody says that you have no chance. Like, obviously, I'm going to be the bigger guy against Cvetan, but he's obviously accomplished, every single thing there is ever to accomplish in the sport. I'm like nothing to him. So, realistically, everybody wants me. I'm not stressed about it. Like, I have everything to gain here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Actually,
Ryan, on the other hand, Ryan has accomplished a lot. However, Andre just went through murderer's row. I know a lot of those guys he just pulled. I know his size. I know how strong he is. Andre's one of them. I'll pull anybody. If it's offered to me, I'm going to take the match. Andre's one of them you got to second guess yourself for a minute. Like, what I get myself into.
Okay, so secret matchup. Got it. Andre and Robbie. Okay.
Yeah, I guess to that topic, let's say all goes well. I know, a lot of people say you don't want to look past your current opponent, but if you end up coming out with the win against Cvetan, who is on this hit list? What are your goals that you want to accomplish in the sport?
I try and live life really one day at a time. When an opportunity is presented to me, I try and focus on that. If I look too far ahead, I lose sight of what's in front of me. I've honestly not thought far ahead, but I can tell you this: I want another bad European. Like, I could name off Americans right now. Like, I would love to get another redemption match, maybe Paul Talbot, but Brandon Elsess. There's guys that I've taken loss to. Craig, pulling Craig again, but realistically, I know who's who here in North America, and I love all those guys. I think they're incredible, but who I've never got to experience, or not enough of anyway, is a big bad European. Like, even somebody that's not from North America. I want to broaden my repertoire, not repertoire, but my resume.
Yep. Sure.
That's what I really want to see what it takes to get brought into deep waters and see if I can survive that. Now, don't get me wrong. I got a really good opponent in Gabriel at the Challenger Series, but I just knew by his style that if I got in the straps with him, that I would dominate there. Granted, when I wasn't in there, he made me look like a kid. So that guy is genetically way too fast. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess that being said, I know, again, you don't want to give out too many of the secrets here, but speaking of being in the strap, is that something you want to be in or not be in when it comes to Cvetan? Because again,
I do.
Oh, interesting.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. If he wants to start every time, I'm okay with it.
Oh,
it's just not wasting time.
Yeah,
I love it. That's fantastic. I mean, when you think about it, though, right, Chris, watching Robbie, his style with that hand control, he wants to be connected, right? Now, interestingly enough, Cvetan has to be, because he'll just come outside and slip. So maybe it is a match made in heaven. This might be absolutely perfect, but yeah, I think, Robbie, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Is Craig is like the side pressure king, right? He will just fly sideways and just blow your elbow out, right? So you have someone sweeping like Cvetan, kind of pulls him out of alignment, right? But you have a much longer arm than Craig does. So I'm curious, leverage-wise, if that'll be the deciding factor.
I don't so much need my hand to go sideways.
That's
Okay, all
So,
right.
We do have a question in the comments here from Red Cat Man. I know you mentioned Europeans. Is there anyone in Canada that you'd like to have a match with?
There's a couple people up there.
Yeah, I think he might be too heavy. I think Pork Chop is probably in the like 242s.
Yeah,
right?
Pork Chop is
Yeah,
guy.
my high level competing weight's 98, 205. That's where I
Yeah.
mean, not 95 to 205. That's really where I'm at.
And
Like I said, I'll pull anybody. Don't get me wrong, but if you're really wanting a highly competitive match, that's in the area. I mean, I'll pull people 220 down. I don't care.
Because I think you've already beaten John Therian, right? You had a super match. Yep. So yeah, I think he's probably one of the better, like if not the best, 198. I think up in Canada.
John's, like I said, I've pulled that I know of. I've pulled every very good 98 in Canada. I could be wrong because obviously I don't know everyone, but I've pulled 3 of them that I know of, and John is the only one to get a win on me. So
yeah,
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think it's funny too, talking about like the Europeans. We were talking with Plowman the other day, and he was already saying, like, I guess seeing like your training and you collaborating with Craig, he's like, yeah, Cvetan's like on a tear of training and trying to get ready for you. So it should be a really exciting match for sure.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's watching them 2 train and the way they do. Like I've dedicated so much time. Like when I get off work, I'll just sit here on the couch for an hour and just go back and rewatch videos of all his matches and everything he does. Like everybody has tendencies.
Yeah.
Mine ain't hard to figure out, but I don't think that comes from him. I think that he's a hand control guy, and you're gonna, as a hook guy, he wants you to chase him. I'm not gonna chase him. So
don't give too much away. Robbie, stop it. Shush.
We have another question here in the comments. So would you also be open to athletes from Asia? Just as you've seen our previous cards, we've had Korean.
I will pull absolutely anybody. I love the challenge. Like I'm the people's person.
Oh
You
yeah.
put them in front of me, I'll pull them. I don't care. Like I want to pull the guys that are hungry, the guys that are putting in the time, the guys that take this serious. I want the best.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So great question here from Paul Italia. Just asking what's up with the memberships. He's never seen that before. So basically, we offer our premium YouTube for $2, correct, right, Chris?
Yep.
Right, $2.99, and that gives you access to all of our secret matches that happen at Knuckles Up. We're also going to give you first and the only opportunity from the community to vote on what secret match you want to see. Plus, we're going to have some cool giveaways, some instructional videos, and just more content as the time comes. So we're super excited about that. But yes, please, guys, we would absolutely love your support. We couldn't do it without you. I just a quick little plug. Obviously, go to thehigh5aw.com to buy your pay-per-view and your in-person tickets. We have the links through there, correct? Right. So they go to our Eventbrite to get our in-person and buy the pay-per-view as well. So guys, September 14th is going to be absolutely wild. Robbie is going to be in the house. Cvetan Gashevski. I mean, there's just so many people. Paul Italia will even be there, actually. We have some celebs coming in, possibly some people from Florida. I won't say who, but we're going to have some celebrities coming in the house as well. So we're super, super excited about that. But now, Robbie, obviously, we won't say home field advantage, but you don't have to travel as far as Cvetan does. You obviously, went down for the Challenger Series. Does travel affect you at all, really, in your matches, or is it just you need a day or two to, kind of just reset yourself, that type of thing?
I feel like when we travel overseas, I think that they do have an advantage. I can't explain why, but I do feel like travel lag, jet lag is a real thing. I'm not a superstitious or some astrological guy. But I do feel like there is some sort of correlation there that gives the home people a slight advantage. Challenger Series, we did very well against guys that most of them said that we were going to lose against.
Yeah.
We go over there and we don't look so hot. So
yeah,
not saying that's going to be the case here, but I do think there is a little bit of a correlation.
I think we just
that
need to
goes
find
along
like
with that.
a neutral territory now, like an island in the middle of the sea,
Yeah.
and then get them all
Everybody's got to travel.
Yeah.
Spot Island.
Right.
Oh man, that would be absolutely awesome. Chris, Knuckles Up 5 on the deserted island.
Yeah, I know, right? Our own private island. for it?
Maybe.
That'd be sick.
One day, maybe we'll afford that one
Yeah.
day. But so training wise, right? So you're obviously taking this very seriously. Are you someone who does hit the gym regularly? Are you more of a table time guy? Like, how are you kind of splitting up your day-to-day training?
I don't spend. I'm not a religious guy on the table. I probably spend more time at the gym than I do anywhere. But also, what I do at work, I train my hand and forearm nonstop. I do tree work, so I'm outside. And today, literally, my hands. You probably can't see them, but my hands get worked to death. Like
Okay.
my hand and wrist, just
Freaking mitts.
yeah, they get worked all day long.
Jeez.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So that anything I do, like a lot of times I work out of a bucket. So when I cut limbs, like I'll catch them and hold them and like hammer curls and things like that. Like it's just what has helped me progress for a long period of time. But those little intricate movements and things, I go to the gym for that. Obviously, I still do train a lot at the gym or in my garage. I have a whole lot of stuff here in my garage too.
That's absolutely awesome. It's like it just reminds me of Marcio. It's like
I was gonna say, do you feel like at times is that almost like a detriment, like where because your work is so physically intensive that it also kind of impedes like your recovery from match to match or tournament to tournament?
Definitely. Like there's a high chance that like I can hurt my hand or wrist depending on what I do. But if I know something's coming, my younger brother's my boss. So
Oh, okay. Hey, that works.
it helps with that. If he knows I have something big coming, whatever, he won't push me so hard. But at the same time, like this week has been horrible. Luckily for me, like I said, I'm flying out on Thursday, which means I get to just work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
yeah.
I get a pretty nice recovery period there, regardless of what I do, as long as I don't hurt myself.
Sure.
Awesome.
So Chris, you gonna show them what the Iron Knuckle is all about? Just fly inside with Roby
Well,
Russell?
that's what I was gonna say. Honestly, getting opportunity to meet like all these amazing, like obviously you're local but international and like top level athletes. That's one thing I really like to stress to people that come watch live and participate in like the after poll. Like I'm dying to grip up with you just to feel like, all right, like where are you going?
I'm
Where are
not.
the strengths? Well, I don't want you ripping me across the table, but it's also just to learn. You know what I mean? Like to your point. I feel like some of the top people in our sport, it's very different than other sports where they're more open to kind of tell you where your deficiencies are, where you can get stronger. It's really the reason why I think people get hooked so quickly.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing. Like when we were, and by the way, is there a local club that you pull with?
Should be the
actually the guys here in Tennessee, we have it kind of broke down like West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, then East Tennessee.
Okay.
When we get serious and we train together, I either go up to like a Landon Anderson or Dalton Bumgarner's place, or I go down and train with Rex Forbes. A lot of the things I actually do myself, unless they're like that big practice in Alabama that I went and trained with Craig and Justin Bishop and all that. If I know ahead of time of those, I will set aside the time and go train there. But I speak to a lot of pullers regularly and ask what they're doing, this, that, and the other to help with that. But with this match with Cvetan, I have probably trained my hand more than anything because realistically, I can pull quite a bit without my hand, but I want to make sure my hand's as good a shape as possible.
Sure.
Now, when I pulled this weekend, I pulled to see the condition of my elbow and my shoulder and all that stuff, and it held up perfectly fine. So I'm really excited about where my training has gotten me to.
No, fantastic. That's great. Yeah, it's exciting to hear, how depending on what region of the country or the world you're in, some people they get to a practice maybe once a month, right? Because they have to travel really far. Like, for example, we're blessed because every single week we have our team come in, we have 15, 20 guys. And we have incredible practices, but it's just cool to see that like even within one state, right? You have like 3 different kind of crowds you can hook up with on the weekend and just see what's going on. But now, what have you heard about? I do like to ask this to our new and up and coming athletes, and give me the honest truth. If you say you heard it was horrible, that's totally okay too. But have you heard good things? Have you heard bad things about Knuckles Up? And I'm putting you on the spot. Have you watched the previous pay-per-views?
I have.
Okay.
Actually,
all right.
I'll buy them all.
Chris. He can come. It's okay.
I'm like I said, I'm the people's person. I do. I try to know as much as I can about the sport in general. I try knowing everybody.
Mhm.
Honestly, of all the people that I know that have been there and competed, you were the standard. Prior to me going to the Challenger Series, granted I've never been there yet,
Mhm.
but seeing the Challenger Series in person, you guys were the standard. From everybody that I knew, I don't know if they told you this, but what you guys have going on is what everybody should have been doing.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love
Really
it. Thank you so
appreciate it,
much.
yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is attributed to like Will's obvious experience in other sports and just kind of what we see in like on the professional level outside of our own industry, right? It's like if we want to be treated like, you know, NFL, NBA players, right? We want to also like treat you guys that way because that's what people aspire to be. Like you're the top of the game, right? So if you guys are treated like rock stars, that kind of gives everyone that's kind of behind you goals to achieve. And yeah, we couldn't be happy to hear that.
Now, Chris, I don't mean to interject. Is Ursula on Instagram?
Yes, Ursula.
Ursula, what is happening? If you're still on, how you doing? We got to get you on the next podcast. No, that's absolutely awesome. It's great to see the other athletes chiming in and stuff like that. And it really, at the end of the day, Robbie, I just want you to know, and for anybody who's watching, is we just love arm wrestling as much as you guys do. like it is a bit. It's in reality, it's a little selfish, right? Like Chris said, like. I am only 2.5 years into the sport, right? I am pulling at the pro level. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to get stronger. But every single time one of these events comes around every 3 or so months, I get to group up with new people, new hands, different limb lengths and experiences. And it's one of those sports where it's like, I think Devin says this, but he like, you know, every person you grip up with, it's a transfer, right? A transfer of like energy, let's say, like you're learning, you're feeling things out, and all of a sudden, even from a light pull, you become a better arm wrestler. So I am super, super excited about it. And Robbie, I hope you are as well. Now, Chris had mentioned, you know, we talked about you really want to pull the Europeans and all that type of stuff. But let's talk grander goals, right? You're normally pulling the 198, 205-ish, right?
Yeah.
Would you say one of your first goals is to become the right arm king of the U.S., like to take down Craig? And I mean that in a polite way, but like, you know, to say like, hey, I'm the number 198 in the U.S.
I personally feel like if that is not every person's ambition that wants to compete at any level, if that is not their goal, then you really shouldn't be in the sport. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, people can do this for fun, you know, here, there, and the other. But when you get up to the level that where we're at, if your goal is to not be able to look at yourself and other people say that you're the best, I'm just too competitive of a person to want to do something just for fun.
I like it.
I love Craig. Craig knows what I'm after. I will support him against everybody. Like, but when it comes between me and him, like the very first time we met and competed against each other, I told him I didn't want to beat him on fouls. I wanted to pin him. So I made them restart us, and I got that win on him.
That's awesome.
And then he turned around and beat me in the round robin, and I've trained with him recently. So I know who the top guy is. Like, without a doubt, it's Craig. But he knows where I'm shooting.
I love it. And, you know, and watching your match at the Challenger Series, you're one of the few people, I shouldn't say few, but my favorite type of people, right? You walk up, all of a sudden the match starts and Robbie comes out of nowhere. I mean, like
the beast comes out.
The fucking beast, excuse my language, comes out and freaking in tenfold. So I am so pumped to see that in person. I know Chris will be in the pit. I'll be helping you guys backstage and doing a little bit of stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a hell of a night. Be ready to stuff your face afterwards. We're gonna have a good time.
I love eating.
See, I knew I liked it.
No, I knew the right place.
Absolutely love it. But yeah, it's going to be a great night. I think it's going to be a really good match. You know, one thing we pride ourselves on is, you know, styles make matches, and Cvetan's a very interesting character, right? I'm assuming, Robbie, you've never met him in person, correct?
Never have, no.
Yeah, very polite gentleman, very soft spoken, actually. But he is just the type of person where, like, as long as you're not like Lavon, he'll take the match, right? And he might even take a match with Lavon. He'll be like, screw it, let's see what I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'll see. I think it's gonna be a very as the words Devin said, a very interesting transfer of energy.
Yeah, I think
Not
it's
to
gonna
sound
be,
preachy.
I think it's gonna be a grinder of a match.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being like a flash pin in
No.
either end, right? So it should be really interesting. I think it's gonna test a lot of your like table IQ, right? Because I think to your point, I think his style will match the power output. So I think it's gonna be seeing who's gonna make those adjustments mid-match, and like it's a game of like centimeters and inches. So it should be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. Guys, we had mentioned before, Paul Italia will be going live at 9:30. Rob's going to be hopping on there. I'm sure he's got a slew of questions. So please get over to his YouTube channel and watch that because it's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, Robbie, now that you're going to be competing at Knuckles Up, right? We do want to mention, however, so the Arnold is coming up in March.
Yes.
Right. And we are putting round robins together. We're putting super matches together. So start thinking about that because that is something that we want to facilitate for you, whether it's one of those Europeans like we had talked about, or whether it is somebody maybe Craig.
Yeah, maybe that Merlot match.
Maybe that Merlot match. You know, I know he would like it. But yeah, I think it'll be absolutely a good time. Have you ever been to the Arnold Classic?
I qualified for it the last year before they shut it down. I was so looking forward to going.
Yeah. Okay, so we definitely got to make that happen. Chris.
Yeah, I mean,
I won Kentucky Muscle.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Now, Chris, did you have any other questions for him?
No, I mean, so Arnold, just to kind of remind the public as well, that is a great opportunity for up and coming pullers. Obviously, you're kind of past up and coming, but people like yourself before looking to compete on the international level because we are having qualifiers in Korea. We're working on one in the Philippines and Japan. We just had one coming up on the 11th, actually, this weekend in Poland. That's another one working on in Germany as well, aside from across the United States. So it should be I think we already had a person coming from Ukraine. So it's going to be an awesome opportunity. The hope is, again, it's to your point. I think a lot of the people in the US that aren't able to make that trip overseas that really want to test, like, where am I at? Am I really able to compete on that world level? It's a great opportunity to do that.
Yep. 100%. Now, Robbie, the floor is yours. Maybe Cvetan's watching, maybe not. I'm sure Plemon will. But the floor is yours. If you have a message to send to your opponent, whether it's nice or mean, the floor is yours. Whatever you like, brother. Let the people know.
I have nothing bad to say about Cvetan. I mean, he's incredible. I don't know him personally yet, but just his accomplishments. I mean, he's done everything there is to do in this sport, and I hope that one day I can be somewhat as accomplished as that. I am honored to be able to pull you, but stop underestimating me. I'm telling you, don't do that. Everybody does that, and it gets you.
I love it.
All I need is that one little window.
Yep, that's all it takes.
That's it.
Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Everybody on the YouTube, we truly, truly appreciate it. If you have any other questions, comments, and follow this gentleman. Now, it's your Instagram is just Roby Russell, correct?
Yep.
So follow Roby Russell on Instagram. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, September 14th, starting at 1 p.m., Knuckles Up 4. Get your pay-per-view in-person tickets. Robbie, thank you so much, brother. Keep training. Stay healthy. Jeez, look at that freaking arm, baby. It's going to be absolutely wild. Guys, that is it for us tonight. Don't forget, hop on Paul Italia's podcast, The Buzz Show, at 9:30. We will see you then. Robbie, have a wonderful night.